It has been said that in Twilight Struggle, you need to know the cards well in order to play well. Well, we're going to take you through every card one by one, and we're going to help you become a master at Twilight Struggle. This is Legendary Tactics. Fidel is an event that brings both access to Central America and a smile to the Soviet player's face. It's a card the American player feels overly compelled to mitigate. In real life, Fidel Castro changed the course of the Cold War. Will he have the same effect in your game? This is our examination of the Fidel card in Twilight Struggle. For the USSR, Fidel is the main path to getting into Central America. It gives you control of one of the 3 Central American battlegrounds, and if you can pull off a coup in Panama, some liberation theology, or just some investment in influence can easily give you domination in the region. Cuba is one of the few countries on the board that are vulnerable to realignments. A lot of times, this will be one of the main instances of the rarely used realignment action as the US tries to get Fidel out of power. So it's not a bad idea to expand into Nicaragua or Haiti to make it a less tempting target and to allow the opportunity to go back in there if your influence is removed. It's easy to overlook the fact that Fidel can turn CIA created into a DEFCON suicide card because it gives the US a battleground country which can be targeted for a coup at DEFCON 2. CIA created can be neutered if, when played, there is no available battleground to coup to end the game. Also, Central America isn't going to be scored until at least turn 4, so the value of having Russian influence in Cuba at an early stage is pretty low. Therefore, arguably, it is better to use the ops in the first turns and maybe look to play it early in the mid-war. But in doing so, you have to take the risk that he may not turn up in your hand and may be spaced or otherwise cancelled by US play. And it's just for those reasons that the US should consider playing the Fidel card for ops in the first and second turns. It opens up CIA created as a potential DEFCON suicide threat, and you have plenty of time to realign Cuba at a later point, as it's unlikely the USSR is going to prioritize putting influence into Haiti or Nicaragua in the early war when ops are better spent elsewhere. Even if you send him to space, Fidel is likely to turn up again very soon. After turn 3, when the reshuffle happens, by all means send him to space. This way he's unlikely to return until after the turn 7 reshuffle, and at that point he is much less valuable to the USSR, who probably already has influence in Central and South America through the use of other cards. But keeping the USSR player out of Cuba denies him or her at least 2 victory points every time Central America is scored, one for being a battleground state and one for being next to the United States. If you know Fidel is not going to turn up for a while, you may want to make a play for Cuba, especially if you have the Central American scoring card in hand or if you know it's coming up soon. Because Fidel could be fished out of the discard pile by SALT negotiations, there's some risk to that strategy, but then again, there's risk in many facets of life. The American player can opt to realign the USSR out of Cuba. It can be done even at DEFCON 2 and has the benefit of being next to the United States, which can neutralize the +1 modifier for the USSR having more influence. If you happen to use the 2 ops on the Fidel card to try and immediately realign the USSR out of the country, smarter people than I have calculated that it's a 34.88% chance that the realignment will remove the influence completely from Cuba. You can use a card like Puppet Governments to take Haiti or Nicaragua, which would boost your odds, although the value of that is debatable, especially since that is going to clearly signal your intentions to the USSR, who can easily coup you out of those unstable regions. One option is to take a spare op to place influence in Nicaragua on the last action round of a turn, which presents the USSR with the choice of doing an action round 1 coup in a battleground country or doing a coup in Nicaragua, a non-battleground country, to hamper the realignment of Cuba and conceding the first battleground coup to the US. So, as the USSR, play this card for ops in turns 1 and 2, and for the event anytime after that. As the US, don't fear Fidel. Play him for the event early and look to realign him out, or leave him there as a DEFCON suicide threat. This has been our analysis of the Fidel card in Twilight Struggle. This is NATO with Legendary Tactics. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.